So a lot of you are probably aware of this AmaPanyaza situation. A situation that I never understood, a situation that I was never even aware of, because I would imagine that the demographic that watches my videos is a little older, and the one thing you know about the older generation is that they love the news. Maybe more than the youth or the youthful demographic type. We're not here to judge. But I find this, especially this type of situation, this current controversy, AmaPanyaza, or an ongoing controversy, I find it as one of the reasons why I believe that the government is always trying to find ways, or the leaders in the government, or leaders leading the government of the country are always trying to find ways to fuck the country over.
Welcome back. KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner AmaPanyaza has raised questions about the formation of the Gauteng Crime Prevention Wardens. He told Parliament that AmaPanyaza, as they are commonly known, have not been incorporated into the Police Act because they're not legally part of SAPS.
AmaPanyaza is a colloquial term for Gauteng's Crime Prevention Wardens, a provincial initiative aimed at bolstering law enforcement efforts in communities, particularly in townships, informal settlements, and hostels. My first question off the bat: why would we need such an initiative if the police force, or the Metro Police, or the South African Police Service was actually doing the job? Why would we need an initiative or a group of individuals, or I don't know what to call it, right? But why would you need such if the police was doing such a good job, which they obviously aren't? The Matlanga Commission has already shown us the syndicates and whatever is infiltrated the police force, the government, and whatever, right? But I have to ask again, why would we need them if the police were supposed to be tackling everything crime related, ensuring that our communities are safe? An initiative that is already shown us that Yona Nayot itself is unable to do what they claim to do. Listen, maybe this thing was initiated for the right reasons. Maybe it was started for the right reasons. It's okay to assume that it was started for the right reasons. But if the police itself, the South African Police Service has been infiltrated, not that, allegedly, because I don't want to get in trouble, but if the police service has already been allegedly infiltrated by the syndicates, what is it that this initiative is going to do different from the police themselves, from the army, let's say? Some may argue that, okay, we've experienced police shortages, slow response times. Valid, I get it, right? And the most common reasons people will bring up is what? Budget constraints, which is obviously going to lead to corruption, right? And the Matlanga Commission, I'm always going to refer to the Matlanga Commission and maybe the ad hoc committee, but I don't have the right. I feel like I don't have the right to comment on that because I haven't done my research into it as of yet. So wait for a video. Stay tuned. But the Matlanga Commission has shown us that this is not impossible. It's not impossible to be chowing imali from the health sector, the energy sector, and definitely not from the law enforcement, let's say law enforcement, crime, intelligence fucking sector, the police. If you think about Utumisan Kumar, Vusikat Matlala, General Pilani Lushaba, you learn very quick and very early Uguti, this budget constraints, that constraint is just corruption. Secondly, what communities are or is the AmaPanyaza operating in? Because I've never heard or seen anything like that in my life. And I don't mean as in seen with my own eyes or heard from conversations. Of course, from conversations too, I've never heard anybody, my parents, neighbors, anybody in the taxi, it's taxi rank or wherever I'm at, I've never heard of such in my whole life. Maybe it's because I'm not as observant. I'm not an observant individual, right? But where are they operating? You know what I'm saying? I think this goes on to show how useless in a sense it is, bro. High risk areas, what are they operating? What, Soweto, Mamelodi? These are the questions I feel like we should ask ourselves, because what kind of initiative is this? Is this just another way and another reason to continue messing with South Africans? But let's continue. In December 2023, the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, then I think, or Ronald Lamula, I don't know, who also has his fair share of controversies, mind you, officially designated these wardens as peace officers under Section 334 of the Criminal Procedure Act of 1977. Smart. This is smart because this literally grants them the same legal status as Gauteng provincial traffic officers, enabling them to perform certain law enforcement duties. So this is sort of like a, what can I say? It's sort of like a shield, it's like a immunity in a sense, immunity You know, to give it some weight. You know, this is not a game. We're not messing around here. We are serious type of thing. You know what I'm saying? That's literally what it is, bro. In fact, when Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi mentioned it at the ad hoc committee, where do these guys get their funding? I mean, since it is a new provincial initiative with unclear integration into national structures, where do these guys get their funding? Because you wouldn't imagine the government to so all of a sudden step in, hop into something that isn't even promising, right? This is just me thinking. It might not be the case. I might be wrong. The government may be funding these things. But if the government is funding this particular initiative, God forbid, then I'm sorry again for the taxpayers in this country. And it's funny because when I think about the rollout and the periods at which these things happen, or maybe the periods at which these people are deployed and stuff like that, bro, is it a coincidence that the rollout was closer to the election cycle? Was it another promise to show South Africans, you know what, we're creating job opportunities. Look, AmaPanyaza, we're hiring people, we're training people. Vote for us. Is this whole thing politically motivated? These are just questions I'm having as a youth in this country who's literally starting to pay attention, a little bit of attention. I don't want to pay too much attention because I feel like I'm going to go mad. But as a youth who's starting to pay attention to what's happening in South Africa, I feel like we should be questioning these things, bro. What is this? What is the use? Is it literally to combat crime, which hasn't decreased, by the way? Or is it politically to ensure that they stay in power in any means necessary? Was this a way to demonstrate what South African leaders are good at? Corruption. To show us good, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter how many times you strike, it doesn't matter how many committees your guys erupt, how many inquiries, investigations your guys commit to. We are still gonna do what we wanna do with this country. It's funny. Okay, my video, this video probably doesn't make sense already, right? A lot of things don't matter. Life doesn't make sense. Deal with it, bro. But these are the questions we should be asking ourselves. Instead of sitting there like a little bitch and hating on people that are trying to do something. I mean, hell, even KZN Police Commissioner Mkhwanazi testified before Parliament's ad hoc committee, stating that the AmaPanyaza are operating illegally and are not sanctioned under the South African Police Service Act. So it's actually reported, or it's a fact, that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi was against this whole AmaPanyaza situation, this whole initiative. But it continued either way. I mean, bro, listen, bro. The IOL reported that the wardens underwent 3 months of training. 3 months of training. 3 months, and you expect to combat crime in Gauteng, in communities that are criminal hotspots. 3 months of training. Not only did they undergo 3 months of training, these people, the AmaPanyaza, they made headlines after crashing more than 22 BMW vehicles assigned to them by the state. I don't understand. What a waste. What a waste of resources. What a waste. So according to this statement, I mean, this may be blown out of proportion, completely out of proportion, you don't understand. But what I'm getting from this is that these people, okay, are obviously not qualified. 3 months of training to tackle to tackle crime. Not only are they underqualified, they also can't drive. But anyway, I guess stuff happened. What I'm trying to say is, my question is, how far these leaders gonna go to continue stealing from the government? You know, South Africa, I feel like South Africa has almost gotten to a point where everybody's gonna do their best to steal, to take as much as they can. It's gotten to the point in South Africa where South Africa is almost like a cake, a piece of a cake, and everybody wants a piece of that cake. But the sad reality is that not everybody can access that cake. If it's not the political sphere, it's leadership. How many individuals do we have leading our various sectors that are not even qualified to be there? You know what I'm talking about? In a hilarious or humorous sense, what is it? Our Minister of Health is unhealthy. Our Minister of Sports can't even run. You know, these are jokes we can make, but in reality, it's the reality. How far are these people gonna go to continue fucking South Africa over? How far? AmaPanyaza, for what? I've never seen or heard about this in my whole life. This is the first time I'm hearing about this. It's the reason sometimes I'll be like, yo, bro, am I in South Africa? Or maybe am I in an alternate dimension, an alternate universe maybe. Ain't no way.
I'm sorry. It's just sometimes, like the emotion of the situation gets to me, and I think, why does there need to be suffering? Why does he have to wait outside in the cold while the city aspects don't work properly, while the facilities are not maintained? What are we voting for? What are we paying taxes for?